Karl Marx and the basis of critical criminology. We'll explore how Karl Marx's theories provide the foundation for critical criminology. Although Karl Marx is typically recognized as a political economist and sociologist, his analyses deeply address the development of laws, for example, policing and criminalization as components of capitalist society. He challenges the idea that society functions through consensus, instead viewing it as full of conflict stemming from economic relations, rather. Karl Marx explains that private property and resource extraction are historically constructed phenomena, not necessarily natural states. This process, called primitive accumulation, involves the state wielding power to enforce capitalist ownership and profit extraction. Social control agencies like police and prisons, for example, they play a central role in maintaining this capitalist order. Along this analysis, Marx describes how, for example, agricultural populations are forcibly removed from their lands under capitalism. This expropriation, he argues, ensures resources serve capitalist interests rather than communal benefit. The example of indigenous peoples in Canada, for example, illustrates how these dynamics persist today, enforced through social control institutions. Marx describes a series of harsh laws that enforced capitalism's labor demands by criminalizing unemployment, resistance, and homelessness. These laws helped to create a labor force dependent on capitalist employment and deterred organizing efforts, demonstrating the coercive function of criminal law within capitalist society. Building on Marx, early critical criminologists like William Chambliss highlighted how laws criminalize certain groups to maintain capitalist labor needs. Chambliss argued that dominant economic classes shape crime definitions. Althusser conceptualized policing, judiciary, and prisons as the repressive state apparatus, wielding legitimated force to uphold capitalist interests. Among Marxists, debate exists about the state's role. Instrumental theorists see it as a tool of capital owners. Structural Marxists, for example, such as Panich and Polantzis, argue the state has some independent power, but ultimately upholds the capitalist economy. Both positions agree the state enforces laws and controls people to sustain capitalist wealth generation. Althusser argued that beyond direct force, the state shapes popular ideology through education, media, and culture, the ideological state apparatus. These institutions propagate ideas that obscure capitalism's exploitative nature and promote the belief that laws are fair and individuals are fully responsible for their actions, reinforcing societal acceptance. I brought you a picture of the Canadian example of state and its control. Critical criminologists examine not only traditional crimes, but also corporate crimes that uphold capitalist interests. Despite legislation like Bill C-45, which upholds corporations criminally liable for negligence, enforcement is limited due to fears of damaging capitalist accumulation, highlighting inequalities in how justice is applied depending on class. To conclude then, Marx's analysis provides a vital foundation for critical criminology by showing how criminal justice institutions maintain capitalist exploitation and control. By uncovering the economic and ideological functions of law and social control, Critical criminology aims to challenge hegemonic beliefs and foster possibilities for social transformation and justice.